G2 are doing what they often do, which is they're just saying, well, you know what? The way in which everyone is playing the game, we just don't agree with. We're going to play Vi, we're going to play Gwen, we're going to play these 1-3-1 style comps, and we're going to screw fighting front-to-back 5v5 seems to be their philosophy.
But can they do that again?
Exactly.
Is the biggest question. That's
the big question indeed. Now, KC do have that right of first selection. They have chosen first pick, and G2 have chosen blue, which means right now it is the bottom right of your screen that will get first pick.
Thank you.
G2 will need to ban something else. Will it be another AD carry? Is Yunara and Varus already off the board? I don't think so.
I think that's a Cassante R1 coming. That is
I don't.
You don't think? Yeah, why not?
You know what? Let's see. Let's see if that's what it is.
Or he could be like, I mean, they got rid of Renekton. So what does that imply to you? What does that really tell you?
Ambessa's still open.
Ambessa R1 as a flex. That's even better, actually. Forget that, because Cassante can deal with it. Cassante doesn't really lose any lane.
But Ambessa does well into Cassante.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the Renekton. Let's not lose track, okay? I'm sorry I took you down this avenue. It's been a wacky day. It's only been 3 games so far, but I do feel like the last one has thrown us off a cliff. Now, the Renekton from Hysterics was very correct. It was just about the through line.
But again, Ambessa is the champion that is picked, not Renekton,
not Cassante.
which is what Dagda said.
No, but I was talking about Cassante. Renekton banned for the Cassante, but it's the Ambessa.
Right.
I was right. I was just in the wrong ticket.
So shall we now predict a pick?
If you want to do your job. What do you think's coming up next?
I wouldn't surprise me if something like a Corki was prioritized. We've been seeing it a bunch from Hans Sama. Jungle may also be the option. Rumble is the one I always forget, mainly because G2 is not a Rumble team outside of this year. We've been seeing it way more. I say way more. The reason why I say way more, it's been 2 games, which is way more than what we're used to normally seeing from
now
G2.
It's 3. Holy.
I'm wondering what they want to pair with it, though, for SkewMond. Jungle would be my go-to here. And Jarvan would be the worst. Just because a lot of the mid lane pool tends to be more, you know, immobile at the moment. So I wouldn't have hated it because, like, more than likely looking for like Anivia and these kind of things. So maybe it's looking for Jarvan on the next rotation as it comes through, like kind of wait to see what kyeahoo picks. Unless he wants to go for something weird, or like an Akali or something like that. But I think it's more than likely going to be like the Cassio or the Anivia. Yeah.
Maybe even Galio. I don't know, because I don't know if kyeahoo plays Anivia. But we've seen Aurora could also be a possibility.
Yeah, LeBlanc's also there in the pool.
I wasn't too impressed with Aurora the other day, we'll say. But yeah, Anivia.
First Anivia of the split. And yeah, who locks it in? Okay. This guy's got a lot of champions. I mean, to be fair though, Investor Ones, these two are one of the most creative teams that we've seen so far in the split. As with Anivia, what jungler do you want? You need setup, right?
Well, I think you can just take the Ambessa and put her jungle if you want to. So
yeah, you're right.
That
Don't lose the flex.
There.
Okay.
So I think it would actually be a Corki or something along those lines, like an AD carry to set up well for Caliste.
Okay, well, question mark. Hang on.
Oh, Galio top.
So that means you lose the flex.
I think that's cool though. Like, it's a good matchup. You've got double AP solo laners that Galio is going to get a ton of value out of. And you've now got a tool that you can use alongside the Ambessa as she dives into the backline. I like what KC are bringing to the table here. So for G2, it's more about now trying to respond with probably more defensive picks so you can try and keep your backline safe.
Oh, that's defensive. Oh, that's defensive. It's a bit more defensive. Okay, that one. Still aggressive though, but we do get the hot pot. We get the blue hot pot for what it's worth. So the biggest question is, how are we going to cement these bot lanes? Because already, Varus, Yunara gone, Kai'Sa, Ezreal, some of these fringe picks like Caitlyn are there.
I mean, Corki is just really valuable.
Super easy, but surely you ban it.
Jhin is also up there, kind of as we start to teeter through.
Jhin Rumble,
yeah.
Classic.
So I think these are kind of the picks I'm looking for, but if I'm G2, I want to ban away AD carries that can self-heal.
Yep.
So things that can get away from Jarvan, things that can get away from the Rumble. But honestly, like, the only one that's really still there that I can think of is like Corki and Caitlyn. Everything else still kind of ends up stuck. Like, even if you pick Xayah, she just comes back down into the Cataclysm anyway, so...
Zeri is like down the list, but like, bro, I feel like that's way too far down the list at the moment. So let's see, because Cal was banned on the side of G2. They're not really worried about 80 carries here. What are you thinking about?
I'm debating what 80 carry makes the most sense for KC, because I feel like you shouldn't really play to care much about the Jarvan.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if G2 first picked Caitlyn away so that you basically only had Corki. But that was under the assumption that they would even consider banning Corki, because right now I think that Corki is the main AD carry that both teams want to
But I mean, Caitlyn's already banned, so that's off the
Oh,
board
right,
completely.
yeah, no, you're,
One of the
thanks.
first bans.
Yeah, I completely missed
But
that.
that's what makes it a harder decision, doesn't it? Again, we're getting rid of supports here as Rel goes as well, but that's why the list for G2 is so much easier to abuse here, so that Jarvan could start paying dividends.
Because I think Hansama just takes the Corki, and
Yeah.
then it's kind of like, okay, well, Caliste, what do you do? Like,
Yep.
Sivir, maybe, but you're still caught in the spell shield. Jhin would be the one that I'd probably go to, because like we've seen Jhin oftentimes enter into Corki, and technically then you've got the range to be like, okay, I'll be fine. So I imagine it's going to be a Corki for Jhin trade.
If you really want a dash, Zeri and Tristana are both still playable. We haven't really seen them at
Tristana
all.
jumps in, Galio on top, and that's your engage.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like it.
It kind of depends what... I have trust that Caliste plays every AD carry. I generally do for most AD carry players in our league. Corki feels like the obvious choice.
Oh, you're going to take support here. More worried about support. I guess you pinched 4 supports from the pool, but now the difference is that KC can pick up that Corki that we're talking about and give an option.
But maybe they're saying, what do you then pair with it? Because with
Corki Pike.
Karma?
Karma is...
I mean, still,
Yeah,
it's a good lane, though, surely.
I mean, sure, it would probably be fine. I guess it depends on what AD carry gets picked, to be honest.
Oh, wait.
Ooh,
Ash,
now.
Ash Bromandel
Ash
or what?
Seraphine?
Ash Seraphine was
Ash
played earlier
Seraphine.
today in
yeah.
LCK, and it was absolutely disgusting. Career had a phenomenal performance on this, so
Okay.
looks like they're taking now a page out of that book.
That is a cool combo, which means the Corki will by default be locked in for G2. That makes a ton of sense.
Okay.
Now, for those that don't know, the way that Seraphine's root works, if I remember my Seraphine knowledge, it is her E.
yeah, that.
Basically, what happens is there are 2 casts of it, and so the first one is a slow, and if a target is already slow, then it roots, and if the target's already root, it'll stun. But what the Ashe does is her passive applies the slow, which means that when the E comes through, it then root into stun. So that's the initial synergy that the 2 champions can provide. And just because Ashe consistently slows, you also have the slows that can come through Anivia's ultimate. And basically, Ashe, Anivia, I mean, if you want to go all the way back to Season 1, Season 2, these were very control-y type champions. They're very good at controlling space. They're very good at making it very difficult for you to approach. And thanks to the vision that Ashe can also get around neutral objectives, it also makes it easier for champions to, well, avoid face-checking dangerous situations.
And I love that you bring that up, because I totally forgot that I always expect, you know, the beat drop, that E you're talking about, has to be double layered with the Seraphine passive, but you're right, because of the Ashe slow, the target's already immobilized, so you're stunned for that same duration. I mean, this is a cool lane. This is overall for KC a nice way to pull themselves out of the pack of this best of 3 to try and find themselves a lane lead and find themselves a win in this game. Interesting drafts.
And what we saw earlier today from Career was going for the Moonstone Renewer into Echoes of Helia, and then was going to finish off the Diadem, but never got there. And one of the things that they did really well was abuse the long range underneath the tower. So you'd end up like hard pushing the lane, a volley underneath the tower, then you'd throw that E to get the root, and you can kind of get a couple of auto attacks in between it. And you've so much healing on this Seraphine between the Moonstone Renewer, the Echoes of Helia, and her W. It is absolutely absurd. So I think this is where now it becomes so much more difficult for this G2 comp to operate. A lot of what they want to do is jump onto someone with Jarvan, have that hot pot combo, get some burst from the Corki, and try and finish off one of these immobile carries. Busio now makes that so much more difficult.
Now, as you can see at the bottom of your screen, League officials are remaking Champ Select due to an issue encountered earlier. So, there's going to be a bit of a delay.
Do you know what I would have done, right? In a different world.
I don't...
No,
in
not
what
this.
context?
In Seraphine as a champion.
Okay.
Okay, listen, don't worry.
Seems completely
I am a
unprompted, but
professional.
fine, let's go with this.
I would have made it so you have to actually sing in comms to use her spells. Wouldn't
But
that
that's
be
why
fun?
we're bringing in voice chats.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That is not actually, I don't know if that's confirmed or not. I don't actually know if it is.
But for the Seraphine bit, that's definitely not confirmed. But, right, hey, if you want to do that, no problem. By the way, a player has loaded into the game with incorrect runes. He did not select full stop. I would love to know what...
Why did you read the full stop?
I would love to know, Mr. Producer. The runes he loaded in with aren't the ones he selected, okay. Thank you so much. With incorrect runes that he did not select, I've got it. I'm sorry, guys. Sometimes, even as an English speaker in Australia, we don't always get the full syllabus. Okay, we do the advanced English and all that stuff, but we get towards the end of high school, and sometimes we just forget it all.
What's advanced English versus just English? You don't just have English class? Why is it advanced
I did advanced English because I was a good boy.
Oh.
But I did come in to talk about Animal Farm, and I didn't read the book, and I winged it. And so I said, now imagine you have this big farm outside your backyard.
I don't think we need to relive your childhood delivery.
It was, I was 17.
Listen to how much he's struggling to say the sentences, and he was the advanced.
I was advanced. Australia's right now, I'm painting a bad picture of you, but we do say crikey, criminy, and how's it going? You know, and no. Yeah, we do all that.
Yeah.
Now, we're in playoffs. You guys got to take it a bit more serious. But I will say, Seraphine singing for her abilities would be fire. Like, that would be something that we could add in. You just imagine Vedius on the comm playing Seraphine. And everyone's, we're going for a team fight. And Vedius goes, ah.
That would mean that KC would have to put Seraphine mid, though, because the noises kyeahoo makes are the only one that can actually hit the high notes, you know?
And he would hit it dead on. Like, actually, kyeahoo would be so good at Seraphine. Man, I'll tell you one thing. This is a good change. We'll talk about this.
You
are the what, Dagda? You had a sign, Dagda.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Cameraman, you got to slow down on that one. We got Dagda here ready. You want to bring it back? We'll bring it back.
I was not ready, was actually the problem.
Well, while Jake runs you through every unfiltered thought that runs through his mind, I'll make sure to let you all know
that's
that
not true. I have
the
many
Champions
more.
Select is currently underway.
Thank you.
We will be getting into game very soon. If you didn't catch the earlier games, would highly recommend you go back and check them out because they were pretty awesome. Yeah, of course, we are getting ready to get into our second matchup of G2 versus KC. The drafts won't change, which means that the hot pot combo that we were talking about for G2 has been locked in with the Rumble J4, Ryze in the mid lane, and the Corki Nami bot lane, in contrast to KC, who's running the Galio, the Ambessa, the Anivia, alongside the Ashe Seraphine bot lane. Now, the biggest thing for me that I'm keeping my eyes on is the fact that while Anivia is often used as a counter pick into Ryze, the reason why Caps is so recognized internationally, at least back in the day, was mainly because of his roams and his ability to find ways to impact the rest of the map. And Ryze is a champion that he often did it with. So even though Anivia can be super effective at bullying out Ryze during the laning phase and providing a lot of zone control later on in team fights, she cannot compete with his ability to roam to sides and impact early game skirmishes.
The thing is, though, KC, it feels like to me, after game one, we're like, we tried 3 people mid. Wasn't enough. What if we now give the top laner away to get to mid, and we give the AD carry away to ult mid lane?
Right.
So now we just kind of have 5 people attacking mid lane at all points in time in the game. That seems like a good plan. So that to me is kind of my biggest worry for Caps, is like, he has flash once every 5 minutes.
That's true.
And there's at least 7 different spells that are coming his direction. So he is going to have to be on point to make sure that he's going to be safe. And I think a lot of that will come down to, you know, Hansam and Labrov trying to get some sort of vision control on this bottom side to note when Busio is trying to move, because obviously the slow from Anivia, pretty good with Busio alongside the Ashe. Like Frel, Yord, and Seraphine, pretty good combo.
Yeah, I mean, again, we've seen this bottom lane countless times. I feel like we started with Ashe and Brom, and then we started getting this cultivation of Ashe Seraphine so specific to the lane matchup. And it is exciting that KC are willing to cook a little bit, because again, it's only a best of 3. It's only one more chance for KC. Well, if they win this, they get another one. To deny G2. If G2 won this series, let alone just this game, what a statement it would make. And we'd have G2 versus MKOI again. Very different to last winter, where the upper bracket was actually KC versus G2.
Entirely different, 50% different.
It's 50% different. That's different. I mean, it would, again, put a statement where G2, like, Caps teleported on the spot in week 1. It was a horrendous start to the split. And now they're dumpstering. And now he's dumpstering kyeahoo, and he's dominating.
They only got into playoffs in their last game of the split.
They had to beat Fnatic.
Also, caveat, kyeahoo did solo kill Caps. That's
okay, bro. But Caps won the game, so data is important.
Okay.
Hey, you can go 200 CS up over your lane opponent in solo queue, but if you lose, you are the loser. Let's see who finds themselves a winner, though, in game 2. Thank you for bearing with us. It has been an exceptional day, to say the least. Happy birthday to whoever's birthday it is out today. I don't know. We've missed so many on the broadcast. but you out there, you get to celebrate your day.
What prompted you to say that?
First of all, I couldn't say
Do
happy
you
birthday
not want them to have a happy birthday, Vedius? Is that what you're saying? I don't
You
understand.
hate people.
At least it would have made sense if you just picked a name.
You know what? Our audience is going to come up and there's going to be that chat box that says, "It is my birthday. Thank you for acknowledging it." You just wait. There's going to be someone in 5-10 minutes saying, "It's my birthday. Thank you so much." That's what we do in the LEC broadcast. We make sure we give everyone a good happy birthday. Now, where do you want to start? Because this is, KC cooking exactly right. This bottom lane is exciting, but it needs a bit of time. Question mark?
No. It comes online immediately.
There it is. About 5 seconds.
Yeah, so you saw the combo on full display right there. Nami losing half of her HP. She will have a heal, but that heal is expensive mana-wise. So you can't really just afford to use it as often as you like. For now, though, Labrov going to pop a pot, get a bit of a heal, and he's going to be fine as Casey's bottom lane look to get that early push.
Yeah, it's the cooldown on the E is relatively long in the early stages of the game, so you kind of get to do it once every so often. But you can see here, you kind of hit the slow off the body, hit the slow, then or follow up with the root afterwards. But Busio has the lockdown.
Gatling got it good as well.
Trade.
Busio going to get his autos off as well. Drops his double Q, and Hans gets hit pretty hard. This is a power burst that also, if we're talking outside of the CC, the high note when you get that passive is really good damage when you hit early.
You also have to be careful as G2 because your jungler's pathed toward that top side, and Yike is making his way down. Now, they are going to do a decent job of zoning Caliste and Busio off for the moment. But as they start to push out this wave, Ambessa can come down.
Just as an FYI, you mentioned the cooldown earlier. 11 seconds is the E
Not bad.
At level 1. So once that is down, it's down for a while. You really feel that 11 seconds for sure. And you can see the constant trades back and forth, not too bad for either side for now. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Caps already moving into Fog of War. Bit of information trying to be garnered by kyeahoo. The wave could be frozen here a bit awkwardly for Caps. So he's got to be mindful of that. kyeahoo actually kind of holding the wave here.
I told you, Betty. I told you. Girlfriend's birthday. Oh my God. This is crazy. I told you. Don't ever disrespect how viewers' birthday is again. See? That world peas guy. Girl. I mean, like, happy birthday. My mum's birthday. That's crazy. We got 5 of them. What is the coincidence? On February 20th.
How kind of you, Jake.
I told you.
Made people's day.
It's
Very
not just
good.
about the players here. It's not just about our audience. It's also about the people at home. Hans Sama good dodge. Valkyrie's important here. Steps up and takes a bit of poke. But Hans has been using his fancy feet a little bit here. He's been doing some good kiting, and I feel like it's important because otherwise he'd probably already be dead.
But look at that mana pool now for Labrov. He's like, okay, we can't really afford to take any more of these trades. Hans Sama going to have to stay solo in the middle lane as he gets what farm he can. A healthy lead already being built for Caliste in the bot lane 1 versus 1. Broken Blade doing something similar, but Canna going to be catching this wave means that that lead should dissipate relatively quickly. Both junglers haven't really made their presence known, but I will draw your attention to these wards that have already been dropped in the enemy jungle. 1 ward here and 1 ward here as well, which means that KC
That's a Jarvan. That's a bit.
yeah, there's a ward under it.
Okay.
There is, and it's so early information already garnered from KC as to what SkewMond is up to during his first few levels.
It's important because he ran the early game last time. Meanwhile, good gank here. Timer from Labrov. Who just gets poked out a little bit, and Caps gets the damage down.
He has 2 points in his W, though, so there was no
I was
Aqua
waiting for
Prison
the
to...
Aqua Prison. Did he miss level? Or he
I think it's more because you kind of need it in that bottom side. There's so much poke. And both Ashe and Seraphine, very, very long range.
Yep.
So it's difficult to really follow up with an Aqua Prison. So I actually like taking the double points in the W. It does mean, though, you're a bit useless when you go for the play. Yeah.
You're just a fish throwing a bit of puddled water on a bird, you know. So good trade there onto Caps. Once again, kyeahoo doing pretty well in the lane. Meanwhile, early on, until Canna has that first item to mitigate the rumble. Well, I mean, guys, I feel like we've seen this matchup a lot in the past couple of years. I don't remember it going this well for the rumble.
It does go well for Rumble in the early stages.
Okay.
Just because he is so much poke, ton of damage, and it's kind of hard enough for the Galio to trade back. It just gets easier as the levels go on and you start to get a bit of...
More points in W, passive magic damage shield, as Yike starts away Dragon. Thank you for clarifying that as, for now, Broken Blade at least sitting comfortable in the top lane. You can say the same about kyeahoo, who's got some good trades onto Caps and small lead himself, but it's much of a muchness with mid just equalizing and neutralizing as Yike is going to start this Dragon and actually take it with ease. Caliste and Busio, they're using that pressure in bot to open up the early Drake for KC.
Yeah, so a nice advantage gained for KC to kick this one off.
Queen.
already
drop.
heal popped. They just walk up and go for a fight. Oh, heal traded.
Caliste just walks it past, and as you say, heal for heal in the end from supports.
Well, KC are happy to look for these summoner trade advantages because they've got the barrier still on Caliste, whereas you got the cleanse on Hansama, so not as useful until 6. So if you can take these more aggressive trades and use that summoner spell advantage, it kind of works out in your favor. But again, you can see, like, if KC don't really hit on the first haul, it's way less threatening on the back end of the play. But once you hit 6, this becomes even more threatening, because if you're overextended in a lane, there's so much CC with the root, and then the ultimate from Caliste, and then an ultimate from Busio. You just don't really get to move by Hansama, which is why he has to opt in towards the cleanse.
I was kind of surprised that Cap didn't take cleanse. I know Ghost on Ryze quite normal, and like cleanse in mid would be rough, but we were talking about it in draft. With all the CC layering in this game, maybe his thought was, you know what, if I get hit by something, I feel like I'm dead anyway. I'm just going to dodge everything.
Again, no, so the advantage of Ghost is also roaming. Like, you have to remember that Anivia can do very little to match a Ryze that moves into river and then roam warps down, and having that Ghost makes it harder to react to, because he's just.
And I guess you can kite in the team fight as well, right?
Exactly.
Like,
that's also the other thing, right? It's got a multitude of uses. As a nice trade comes out from G2.
Sidestep on Aqua Prison. The Encore does connect, and rather the flash forward, Caliste onto Hansama. Now Labrov, the new target. They've got the slow down, the damage from Busio. Going to help out Mega as the flash from Labrov comes out. No summoners on G2's bot lane.
Caliste is super close to 6, though. I think he hits it off this last minion.
There it is.
They can look for the ult under tower.
Caliste going to send it, waiting, getting vision, waiting. No. Labrov is the only one still in dodge. SkewMond is now level 6 as well. He's got the Cataclysm. Flash, knock up there as well. The arrow comes out a moment too late. Caliste is dead to SkewMond's well-timed game. Meanwhile, we look towards mid lane. kyeahoo about to turn into a little egg, but Cap can't find the last shot. Yike here.
Also in the area, has
Perfect.
level 6. Doesn't connect. The Ghost popped just there to give him that extra bit of movement speed. There's the tech. I wonder if we can get a slow-mo of that mid-play, but we have to turn our attention back to bot, because it works out for G2. Caliste holds his ground when Hansama goes for an all-in in the bottom lane. Hans and Labrov got punished heavily, having to use all of their summoner spells. And then Caliste was like, well, I want plates, I want to get more for this, I also have level 6, but there was nothing he could do about the Jarvan engage.
That's what we missed mid, I guess.
Yes, kyeahoo looks to go for the trade. Gets the stun, gets some damage down.
Ghost.
Oh, he pops it very early, okay.
So at least keeps the Ghost going, though, because I think he still has it here at the end. Just barely able to escape, yeah. Because like half a second later, that cooldown disappears on the Ghost and he would have got caught.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, a nice play. Caliste did use the arrow in the Jarvan gank there, by the way. So SkewMond, he got first blood, but Caliste, now that arrow's been down for a little bit, coming back up again as Yike approaches the area. But his public execution is also down. So Yike's means of engage is more reliant on Busio and Caliste. As Busio, by the way, has just hit his Encore at level 6.
Yeah, just going to clear out the wave, and as you say, Shadow here to make sure they can get this push. I imagine you're just looking for the reset here for Caliste with a minute and a half until Dragon. That'll be the next focus. You can already see SkewMond starting to move down, but KC backing away.
Especially since SkewMond, I mean, his Cataclysm is up and available again. SkewMond also got first blood, and he's towards his first item a lot sooner, obviously, than Yike with a small gold lead. And so far for G2, the early game looks good again on a very different style of composition. 1k gold lead as Grubs are up, and a minute till the next Dragon. KC got the first. Sidestep galore. We're just watching the feet work of, it's a bird. Why can Anivia buy boots? I guess talons, right?
Okay, first of all, Anivia can buy boots because everyone can buy boots.
I mean, yeah, but that was a thing before the Casio reinvention, you know?
But even when everyone didn't have to need boots and Casio didn't need boots, like, there are many ways that Anivia can wear boots.
But so there's just a flying bird.
Are you telling me you've never seen little boots on a bird before?
No.
Wow, okay. There's clearly a lot of educating you need to be doing.
Donald Duck, you know, they've definitely won boots.
True.
Absolutely.
Yeah, true. I don't know why, but that's actually Dagda. Well done. It's been a while. Look, there is a first item on the way for kyeahoo, by the way, but it's not important right now. I was going to focus back on the bird, but it really is about G2 in the bottom lane. With first item on SkewMond, you can see Yike is in the vicinity, but he has to run down quick as KC are pulling off and making sure they're not overstepping for an easy engage for G2's jungler.
Yeah, big amount of gold is still sitting on for Hansama, though.
Arrow, goal post. G2 fans cheer. They like that one as Yike is still undiscovered. Hansama looking at a face check with a phosphorus bomb. Meanwhile, mid laners will try to join in the fray. Cap's just going to walk it down. He gets flash frosted a bit, walks back, and kyeahoo obviously doing fine in the trades.
You can see Caps does have a small CS advantage, but kind of even across the board. Broken Blade continuing to build a bit of a lead in the top side. Both top laners have their TPs available. Everyone is eyeing up this dragon as the waves continue to be pushed in. Dagda did mention it earlier, but Hansama is actually sitting on a lot of gold that he's not going to get that opportunity to spend.
Overheating auto attacks. Everybody knows that Equalizer down. Canna in danger. Just as punches him flashes away. He's burning down. Broken Blade close to the minions doing the work for Canna. Steps up, gets a scrap shield. As he steps up to the next minion wave, Broken Blade, you cannot get hit by the range creeps. And Canna knows with one win the wall, he finds a kill, flashes, outplays, overheating, done Electro Harpoon, gets the slow, Canna on the turret, Broken Blade almost dies, Canna's still alive, both at 1 HP.
Canna's no mana.
We're doing it again, Broken Blade. No, he's
the
not going to go on to
Broken Blade has to leave because he knows that people are coming from base. Wow, very close from both top laners playing at the very edge of their limit. Both flashes gone, no one falls. Here is Busio in the top lane as Yike turns his attention towards the grubs.
SkewMond did get the dragon while that was all going on, though, so in the grand scheme of things, I think you're still happy with the way this is going as G2.
No Leandre's
Wait, that's a TP back from Rumble.
It is. He's just running into Busio. He's overheating again. He's frying it up. Encore saves the life as the ultimate comes through from Yike. That may have just done it, but Cap's flat support to secure the kill on Busio. Now for KC, they've got to play the rest of the fight as the arrow connects. Broken Blade's down. Yike is next on the ground. SkewMond in the Cataclysm and Acro Prison. Safe and sound. That's what KC thought when they initiated this fight. But Caps following up. Again, good damage. It's slow, but it's doing the job as Canna runs through his life. Acro Prison again. Flag and drag. Canna will not escape this time. Caliste, the last one standing.
G2 had more members who could move to the fight, and they're still going to go.
Caliste stepped up to the wave. Big mistake, pal. It's G2, and they are unrelenting.
An unbelievable scrap in the top side of the map spells disaster for KC, because while all of this was going on in the bottom lane, Corki continues to farm. A TP to return to the river from Broken Blade. He simply melts Busio, and while the TP response looks promising, the damage is just going the way of G2.
And Yike is 2 levels down. He doesn't have enough to just burst out Broken Blade, but with the roam are coming through from Labrov and having the Jarvan there, there's too much damage with 3 members there. Because the Anivia had got the reset with no TP, G2 make the play happen in the top side.
An Imperial Mandate as well came through for Labrov, plus the Dreammaker. And with those bubbles, I mean, Labrov added so much extra damage to that G2 3-stack.
It's also understandable that from KC's perspective, swapping a bot lane to top, this is not done this early into the game anymore, especially because of those role quests. So you'd expect them to have the numbers advantage in that situation, but the fact that G2 could contest, given that they created a 2v2 into a 3v3 into the 4 versus 3 that the fight ultimately devolved into, means that G2 come out ahead. They have a 3.4k gold lead, but guess who the biggest lead is on? Hansama.
Ollie.
He got, what was that, 3 plates in the bottom lane?
True.
Like, he was left completely uncontested in that bot side of the map. And so he built up a huge CS lead. Enemy AD carry dies, and he's left to secure a tower completely uncontested. Huge advantage for him.
Which now means you have a Triforce versus bits and bobs.
Arrow.
But they still go.
Cleanse. Hansama steps back into it. Fear not, Hansama will just walk in. He's got Labrov by his side. Better Enchanter wins.
But that's what I was saying. No, it's the better items. You have a full item on Hansama, and Caliste just doesn't. So when it comes to quick trades like that, Hansama happy to take them. And even though he's rooted, he can still auto-attack in the root. So cleansing the Ashe arrow is always the more favorable option.
Good heal coming out of Busio. For the time being, Echoes of Helia there from Busio, also going to give quite a lot to Caliste, but the fear again, as you said, I really like he pulled up the plates. 1.3k means Trinity Force also, with the power that's happened through mid, G2 are able to start off this Herald. It's going to be spotted out by KC, but I fear they're way too low for the show.
I mean, the enemy Ryze has 3-0-1 scoreline.
That's also a problem.
Second mana item. Perhaps hasn't finished his role quest yet, but yeah, G2 already in such a scary spot for KC to have to deal with. And that question of scaling, I mean, I think it's relatively close. The thing is, if a lot of this series was about fighting around neutrals, then I would give the advantage to KC, because I think that their ability to team fight is really strong. Anivia, ult, and wall against what is a very short-range composition should be super difficult to play against, especially with all the poke that you have. Oh, SkewMond, has he overstepped? Ashe arrow?
There's a public execution. Encore flies through as well. SkewMond at half HP, rooted up. Tidal wave zoning out. SkewMond flag and drags away with the wall. As you said, Betty, the call comes through and kyeahoo negates the escape.
Because the one thing I wanted to hit on was the value that this Seraphine gets with all the different components that she has here. Because you dive in with Yike, you immediately get Busio's follow-up with the ult. Yike then shields, immediately gets the heal off of Busio's W. All of these little bits and pieces are working so well together that this Seraphine is getting insane value, alongside now G2 overstepping into the jungle and giving these pick opportunities to KC.
Now the Ashe arrow combo into Ambessa.
Dodge the back flank though. Canna, two-man shield of Jarvan. And with Busio laying down the CC, Hansama is a dead man walking. Busio will die in the end. Caliste shielded out, but Canna with the angle and the security there as Rumwalk comes in. KC have already done the job. I don't think Caps can do much, but Equalizer proves me wrong. Yike hit pretty hard here as Caps, remember, fed level 12 Ryze. Can't have a turret though. You might be surprised as G2 have enough damage to penetrate his hard shell.
G2 turn the play back around, crucially getting the kills, but also matching the turret plates that kyeahoo's going to be able to take on these side lanes. G2 now, position on Dragon, should turn up in the play.
I mean, that should have been a Dragon for KC. They found such a nice flank
Great
from
angle.
Canna. The arrow doesn't connect, but it puts G2 in a difficult position. And I love this proactivity that we're seeing from KC. Really fighting their way back into this game. But they tanked the tower a little too long. Caliste is basically forced out of the fight. And then G2 say, okay, let's keep this fight going. Good Rumble ultimate. Good chase down onto Canna. SkewMond arrives, and KC don't have any tools left to contest the respawn of the Dragon.
I wonder if you're worried though. Canna got the double kill there. Canna has the kills on KC outside of Yike. Gold is getting back into their favor as Caps are just chasing down his pop the Ghost. He's in a 1v2 with a health bar advantage, and now there stands an egg. Caps has put him into his own frosted misery as Yike is going to bring it on back, but shield comes out. Caps gets hold and flashes. That's Cap for you. It's winter, but not as you know it.
In a 2 versus 1, Caps finds the outplay, and now this game is really going as KC is fighting back in the mid lane. G2 find ways to outplay a 5-0-1 scoreline for the man in the mid lane as Canna's now the target.
Well, Broken Blade is taking a lot of turret shots. That's nice. Busio's on the way. Canna has the damage, and with Busio there, you would have thought they'd follow up, but still a little bit scared.
G2 had the push in mid. We already had Labrov roaming down. They don't really feel comfortable going into the 2v3 potentially. But Canna.
Do they have the damage? Flag and track. Well, maybe they do. Broken Blade sitting on the outskirts of the Cataclysm. Shielded Duran doesn't reach. Wins the war neither as well. Double knockup. And Broken Blade is shifting gears in the Galio matchup.
G2 making the pick happen after the play. Busio shows on mid, and it's death for the top laner.
G2 accrued a 3.5k gold lead. KC reduced that gold lead, and just like that, G2 have rebuilt that gold advantage once again. Caps fresh off a base is ready to skirmish. Ambessa wants to protect the Anivia egg in the minion wave as well. You're thinking to yourself, this should be outplayable. But the Seraph shield, the flash from Caps, he finds the outplay onto his former jungler. And G2 find themselves once again with a 3.3k gold lead.
Caps pretending his gold stack right now, 700 plus the kill bonus. I mean, that guy's worth 1,000 gold. You need to take down Caps. 3,500 gold, G2 2 Dragon, 3 minutes till the next, but Baron is a possibility with one more mistake for either team. But right now it looks like G2's controlling the flow. With Herald getting free charge in mid, not many people there to defend, as Inner might be a possibility as well.
You just get charge.
We get a charge.
But it still, what an impressive performance from G2. The lanes should have been there for Caliste and Busio on the bottom side, but Hansam and Labrov able to hold their own. Caps and Broken Blade in the solo lanes getting their own advantages, and then making life so uncomfortable for KC as they just find pick after pick. And now Caps 5-0. Broken Blade is on his own though.
Looking at the mini-map, you can see SkewMond heading towards the bottom side of the map, but he wants to clear out his camps. Broken Blade is the target of the dive.
Equalizer is available. Public execution lands as well. Broken Blade flashes away and he gets past the wall. That's the movement speed coming through as SkewMond gets the knock-up. Canna takes some turret shots. Tidal Wave a little bit short. There's some pings going down, and G2 deflect the dive. KC run away.
G2 was considering keeping the fight going, but with no Hans, no Caps, it's really dangerous to risk that fight. And Caps is happily cross-mapping by securing this tower in the top side to get even more gold funneled into him. KC don't really have any other plays that they can look to make. That Ashe arrow, always the threat of catching someone off, but when 3 members are committed bot, there's very little that KC can do elsewhere.
Because Hansama just went stop and hide. He just hid in the brush on that ping port and was like, I'm not on the map. How are you going to try and find me?
Sure.
So G2 just playing well around the opportunities that KC have. And now starting to set up the vision. This map is getting more and more difficult for KC to find picks.
Yike.
They're still fishing.
They definitely are. But Labrov's not an easy catch as Blast Cone's used. KC trying to approach again. There's good deflective vision from G2. And notice as well, Broken Blade has teleport available. So as he pushes his bot lane, he's safe to join. kyeahoo, the same can be said, but... Whoa!
Whoa!
Yeah, no, what was that?
Oh, that was a mistake. I wonder if he wanted to time a flash, pressed enter. I don't know.
Oh, dear.
But that was a big mistake. Flash now gone for the Anivia.
That's a sad who. You know, the ones that owls make. Ooh, you know?
Yeah, it was...
You guys
It's a little bit painful to watch, especially as 30 seconds now until this potential third dragon for G2. But I'd very much like to have that up and available because that now puts a target on kyeahoo's back for SkewMond. At least does have the egg available. They should be able to survive for at least a little bit. But everyone grouped and G2 looking to push KC away from River.
Hans. Ooh, it's rooted.
Oh, Busio gets a good one as well, but it's down to half HP. Bit of poke coming through from G2. And just as Busio looks like he can find an angle, it's denied.
But that's the thing, like these are the moments where you could at least try and fish for picks. I know that you still have the cleanse on Hansama, which is why KC didn't overcommit. But you're still seeing it's hesitation from KC.
Oi, big one.
Poke.
Really good. Flag and drag not there, just a drag instead. G2 thinking about their angle, can't have it a face check, but it's Caps again, walls out. Hansama goes back for the equalizer. Beautiful! SkewMond jumps in with the encore, even better from Busio. Into the egg, but it's still a 5v4 as Galio is used to deflect. Caps in the way is Canna again, but look at the AP carries! Caps gonna realm off, interrupted by an arrow. Busio and Yike running to the left, but Hans is on a damn automobile. As Yike looks for the Mega Blast Cone, he will escape. But G2 just don't lose fights right now.
Caps is too big to let that happen. The actualizer completed. He is ripping through members of KC. And they did everything to try and keep kyeahoo alive. But with Busio and Canna, it's not enough.
The thing that really caught KC off guard was the Nami ult. When we get the replay up, watch this Nami fly into the backline. Well, not the Nami, but the ulti. Labrov's positioning is fantastic. He actually connects it onto 2 members, makes it hard for Canna to retreat, and then this Rumble ultimate's doing so much work in the middle of the fight. Once the egg is converted and SkewMond is down, they quickly convert it into 2 kills, and KC's forced to retreat.
That actualizer, I think that item is a little too good on Ryze. I think that item's a little too broken.
Well, I was going to say, when you end up with 5-0 and 3 items as, you know, 22 minutes into the game,
look at him.
Kind of good regardless.
Look, he's walking into 4 people. Tidal Wave zones up again. Caps at half HP. Actualizer wasn't even used there, and Caliste's at half too.
I mean, this Ryze is really starting to pump.
Starting to.
Yeah. Oh, he can get stronger.
It's like saying Arnold Schwarzenegger's like, yeah, that guy, yeah, he's getting there, you know?
Good, sir. There is still Void Staff and Death Cap that he could potentially buy. But we'll see what direction he chooses to go. I mean, at the bottom of your screen, I'm looking for win conditions, ways for KC to claw this game back, and there's no standout player right now. It's really hard for the Ashe to get involved. We go back to the draft and we think about how this Jarvan can really mitigate her ability to just play that front to back. There's also kind of this dive idea on the side of KC that doesn't have the most reliable follow through. It's not an easy comp for KC to play, especially given how ready G2 is to fight.
The Moonstone Renewer now complete on Busio is actually a pretty sizable upgrade, though. I know it's weird to be talking about it from a support perspective, but like, the slower that you can play these fights as KC and basically go for these like poke plays and fall back, you're getting mass AoE healing off, and it makes these fights a little bit harder for G2. So we'll have to see if they can make this work now as Hans on mid wave.
Angle's good. Hanzo is connecting these big ones, these big rockets as he gets out with the Valkyrie, flashes away from the public execution tidal wave just in case. But meanwhile, Canna has to ulti to escape. That grand exit is down as KC get a double beat drop. It's good, and encore onto Caps as well, but the equalizer, the hot pot. G2 have been to China. They know the taste. As who's the first to go down with a Realm Warp chase. You ain't out of dodge yet. The flames emit, and KC are getting a dose of reality. As Yike goes against his old AD carry, but he will die to do so. G2 put him in the dirt again.
Every single fight, G2 just melts through KC. They tried to target Hans Sama. He flashes away, but then on the re-engage, the Jarvan Rumble combo is just so devastating. Canna is isolated from his team. He's waiting on the left-hand side for the opposition to set up a trap. He's forced to ulti early on. And you can see Hans using his flash right there. And then at this point, with the re-engage, G2 do some serious damage.
Yeah, just the immediate engage from SkewMond, stepping away from the ultimate, perfectly set up with Broken Blade's ultimate. I mean, that was just such a beautiful combination between the two. And we said that KC were hoping to play it slow, utilize the healing from the Seraphine. But these fights are getting out of control before they even look at G2.
What a day BB's having in both these games now. I mean, the setup of these ultis is crispy clean, and now minute 50, that Dragon coming up. Great comeback from MKoi through that. Brother, I think you need to fast forward the VOD. We are in the G2 series now. You, sir, you're about 4 hours behind, and someone needs to tell him as Equalizer comes out again just to poke him down.
This is what happens when you tell people to go back and watch the other games.
That's true.
Wow, MKoi dominated. Bro. Okay, we're past that. Let's catch up as I don't think KC arrow, dodge, auto attack, turret down, Caps just smooth.
That looked casual.
He just
popped the ghost and was like, yeah, this isn't going to happen. And Caliste honestly hasn't been able to connect into these arrows realistically all game long. Like, we haven't seen them come to fruition. And G2 now minimizing the map space that KC has makes it nigh on impossible for them to fish for these picks now.
Caps has been on a tear. I mean, it's another game. It's like the MKoi series where it's going to be hard to pick an MVP here. But G2 on the final step here. Almost 10k gold lead. The big one connects. Canna goes for an engage. He finds himself hard armor with the cleanse out as well. Even with the charge, they'll finally take him down. It's a big moment for KC, but they need more. They need Caps. The King of Europe flashes over. It's Canna. He used the commit, but the hotbot out again. Even out the Cataclysm. The Galio, it's good. But G2 has SkewMond with healing and a GA. They're backing away. KC have a free kill, and G2 have overstepped. Game still goes on. Someone kills SkewMond as KC get revenge.
And 20 seconds until the Dragon Soul for G2 as well. KC may have just pulled off a defense that nets them more time in this game. G2 teleporting in, hoping for a pick as KC might come in staggered.
I mean, a much needed defense from KC. The chain CC onto Hansama finally results in a kill, but he is now back alive. The biggest difference is that smite availability. SkewMond, 24 seconds until he's back on the Rift. G2 have 4 members ready to fight, but KC have 5. The Dragon is started. I don't see how G2 can really contest this.
No, but they're thinking about it regardless. Arrows up and available. Dragon close, equalizer down. Maybe it's for the fight afterwards, but KC get the Dragon and get out. Objective bounty from 9.5 to 6.5. 3,000 gold for KC is the net.
BB gonna stick around though. Yike doesn't have the smite, but is kiting it back smart, stepping away from places where G2 might be. But G2, they're just trying to find a pick, because a singular moment could close this game out in G2's favor.
It's one ticket easily acquired with a single win. One of these teams is going to Barcelona, and only moments ago I was setting it up to be G2. If you want to join us next week, tickets are still available. Quick side note. MKoi already confirmed 100%, which is good since they're hosting it. But it's either going to be G2 or KC who are going to be joining, bare minimum top 3.
And we're going to get to see that upper match on Monday as well. First best of 5 of the LEC Versus. Ultimately, though, it felt like that this was a foregone conclusion. G2 felt like that with the Baron, they were going to lock in and close out this game. But with KC's base defense, they've bought a little bit more time. They've been able to get a bit more gold to work towards those items. 3 now completed for Yike, 3 the same for Caliste. So G2 has to play a little bit more cautious now that KC have showcased they do have the tools to take you out if you miss position.
And I feel like as well, Canna, when he gets that Zhonya's, if we're talking about playmaking that can negate G2, that's another tool we need to look towards. As arrow flies down, does it fly through? Yes. Broken Blade caught. Yike catches him. And now for Broken Blade to get out, he has to burn the flash. He equalizes down, but he needs support. Meanwhile, Hunsummer's found Canna on the back wing. Tidal Wave doesn't connect. G2 are looking to find a play off them committing for Broken Blade, but now he's flashless.
Still though, KC invested a loss, and G2 know it.
Cataclysm down onto Yike, flag and drag, Aqua Prison as well onto kyeahoo's the next target. KC are separated here, Encore only onto 2, Caps was golden, and Caps unleashes hell. The shield, unreal as Broken Blade gets low as well, but look what's happening here. The egg is down, kyeahoo was too far aground, and G2 take another.
Caps is just a one-man army. He stands in front of everyone and denies KC from grouping with both of their members in the rest of the fight. And KC, they are petrified of this man.
KC came so close to finding such a valuable pick onto Broken Blade, but they couldn't quite get the kill. They get his flash. G2 then collapse into the bottom lane and convert it into a pick of their own. kyeahoo is now dead for 25 seconds. He will be up and have TP ready for a Baron contest, but there's nothing that KC can do to stop the vision denial. Sweepers are coming through, vision is going to be limited. KC will see to the entrance of their jungle, but G2 is making it as dark as possible to secure that Baron to look to try and end the game.
I mean, G2 also take all the objective resources up in this top side of the map. Spotted out. I mean, Ashe provides a lot of support here where you don't actually have to face check, use that free Hawk. And at this point in the game, it's not a bad over cooldown as Infinity Edge for Caliste is something I'll note that is on the way, but it might not be relevant because G2 have now started this Baron.
kyeahoo only on his way out of base. I don't think there's a contest here from KC. No. They're going to be too late. They don't have the vision. They'll now spot that it's going down. Yike has ult to get over the wall, but does he have a tool to get through?
Hang on now.
Equalizer down, the wall is giant. SkewMond playing for the smite, and Yike takes it! I remember him as the smite king, and SkewMond gets scored, but the flag and drag re-engage was genius! Canna goes back on in, and SkewMond still survives. Canna on the back of the pick, can't get out. And now with the Realm Warp, KC is coming crashing down. Great encore, but we need Caliste to get the fight. He takes one, but Broken Blade on the back end is too much to handle. Tight as he may, Busio's dead, and kyeahoo will be the only Baron to survive.
4 Barons gone. G2 with a dominant team fight once more. kyeahoo doing his best to retreat as the top is getting pushed in. An inhibitor can maybe be secured. Caps and SkewMond on the hunt. They want to make sure that every Baron is taken off.
Seen, and he's out. So it won't be the end of the game, but again, G2 in power.
But the fact that KC actually got this is huge.
It is.
Like, the steal away, I think Canna didn't need to go in. If you can all get away with 4 people, I think you have enough to try and clear this out. But KC maybe thinking they could get their own, but SkewMond with a pretty cool exit there. Ulting onto the Galio to escape, but the Realm Warp straight into that Busio combo. Actually sets up for some kills back, but still, G2, they get the kills, but a lacking Baron, maybe just holds on for KC.
And I also noticed in that fight, I mean, Caliste is huge, and he didn't have Infinity Edge in that fight. So, 4 items now.
I mean, they're just stalling the game outright. Now, the problem is that Soul is about to be spawned once again. KC have to get back out onto the map. Look at what Caps is doing, keeping that mid-wave pushed in. Galio's ulti is available. Yeah, it's soon.
But Hans has no flash and no cleanse. That's the target for KC before you can try and take down the Ryze.
The wall zone, SkewMond's the first target. Equalizer good again. Caliste sent to the back line at half HP. He's healed up as Canna TP's in, but Yike in the pit. Denies, stalls. That's the game for KC to hold it. Encore flies through on a hard time, but he's too far away. Meanwhile, kyeahoo's going to be Popper Caps in the middle of 4 people. Has to now carry, but you know he can. Again, Caps is still alive. It's a double beat drop down as G2 back and forth with the shielding. Unreal. The mid laner getting popped. He goes Zhonya's, so there's no Realm Warp, but Busio, the last man standing, and Caps is just too tall, too big, too much of the EU region to take down, and G2 in playoffs are just that good as Busio finally dies.
9-0-9. Caps demolishes KC. Caps takes down our first seed. And Caps punches G2's ticket to Barcelona.
We forget that this region might be G2 as Broken Blade walks away and the game might continue to go on. But this guy's at the head of it all. He'll take the bot turret, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, but this game and series is not over yet.
So Yike with another impressive steal. He denies the soul away, but then the fight after has to happen. That Rumble ultimate makes it so difficult for KC to follow up. And Mikhail's to help Broken Blade out of the stun as SkewMond is fighting for his life in the pit. All this zone control makes it so hard for G2 to follow up on his engage, but Caps does find an angle. He is ripping and tearing through the back line, but once that initial domino falls, the rest start to follow. Broken Blade's damage in the fight really can't be underestimated, as his impact was also absolutely massive.
I mean, Yike knows. Great steal, but also I think you giggle at Caps. Using everything in the arsenal, the Ghost to reposition, the Seraph's Embrace shield, the Zhonya's Hourglass to keep himself safe at the end as well. But now G2 pushing in towards the base, no objectives for 2 minutes. Is it G2 taking their foot off the pedal, playing it slow, or do they want to try and find picks and find some way to take KC out before they can continue to stack more of these items?
Caps is naturally having a fantastic game.
Labrov just face check, tidal wave used, but a public execution, an arrow. Labrov cannot be making that kind of mistake.
Pick after pick, KC are finding them. They've been finding them throughout this game. It's unlikely to result in any major objective, but it's more time. And the more time that KC have, the more that this goal difference matters.
Because look at the items for kyeahoo and Caliste. You've capped as Caps. You're getting there as Hans Sama. These item differences are now starting to dwindle. And the longer that these picks happen, the longer that this game goes, the more even footing it starts to become for KC.
The biggest thing for me about this series that has surprised me the most is Broken Blade's performance in contrast to Canna. Canna was a top laner based on the regular season. He's had a phenomenal year overall in 2025. And for Broken Blade to have a performance like this today,
On Rumble
as well. Yeah, I mean, obviously Caps is kind of stealing the show, but this man has had so many fantastic equalizers. He's got a 4-1 and 14 scoreline, consistently dealing huge damage in the team fights. And it is him who I'm keeping my eyes on in the fights, because that hot pot, that combination is making it so difficult for Caliste and Busio to play.
His Gwen was exceptional earlier on as well. BB is having a phenomenal series. And it's great to see kind of when he's given the opportunities to step into more of a carry role, he's able to step up and take that mantle.
But the man I'm keeping my eyes on for KC is Caliste. He's been doing a lot of damage. He's got the items that he needs. Hans tries to interrupt the base of Busio, but as you mentioned earlier, Busio has really come online with the Dawn Core completed as well. A Guardian Angel now secured for Caliste. This bottom lane for KC can be the difference maker to enable KC to win out on the fight.
He's equal in items because Doran Blade is holding the last slot for Hans Arm before he gets 7 items. So for this Corki, he's now dead even with Caliste, and the GA advantage means it gives another bullet in the chamber. Public execution found again. Labrov can't pop the ulti, but Labrov is down. But look at what Busio just did. Canna big shielded around as well. Yike, he's trying to bring the game on back, but KC have found the fight. Caps has got the kill on the back line, but he's at half HP. KC have infinite sustain. It's a hack right now, and they're back at full HP.
In the front to back, KC is coming out ahead. kyeahoo is chasing after G2, who are on the retreat. They know that they don't have their jungler, so they have to make this Baron impossible. Broken Blade now the target.
Shielders around there, turret now down, trying to drop the beat as Busio flash away from Broken Blade. Caliste has got the slow and the damage to boot. Caps are slowed down. A shutdown, gentlemen. I see a shutdown. I see a Baron.
SkewMond is still up and available though, so KC can't go towards the Baron. They have to wait 20 seconds, and Dragon is up, and that's where they're beelining to. But watch this engage from Busio. All eyes are on the bottom fight, but Busio and Canna set up for this fight that turns it for KC. barely KC are holding on to this game.
I mean, SkewMond made it so much better by ulting onto Caliste to limit his involvement in the fight. But this is what we mentioned earlier. Caliste has the damage to win out on the team fight. SkewMond has snuck his way behind. KC, I do not think that they know.
The pings are going down. They're thinking he's somewhere there. Found onto Busio. SkewMond for the engage. Caliste flashes away. Cataclysm there, but SkewMond is separated from the team. He goes into GA, but remember, KC have heals. It'll be a 5 versus 4, and SkewMond cannot get out. Public execution used from Yike, but KC have the dragon and soul all for themselves.
Steal after steal after steal. Yike has kept KC within touching distance, and now KC may have just pulled off the biggest heist in this series.
It felt like that this game couldn't be lost for G2, but pick after pick, steal after steal, little by little, KC have fought their way back into this game. And with no enemy jungler to steal this one away, that will be a Baron secured. And KC telling everyone watching that this series is not over just yet.
All right. I mean, gold doesn't mean anything, but it is telling a story of where this game started, where it developed to, and now where it lies. G2 have to play Elder, but these fights, as we're talking about, are looking more and more KC favored. Now with a 7-item Ashe. Yes, Hansama has a rapid fire cannon, but with a wit's end, a bit of MR for Caliste plus extra damage. He's able to navigate the solo lane. It's a lot better now.
The tenacity as well is so nice.
That's
for
a really
things
good
like
point,
the
yeah.
Ryze that are looking to lock him down. But also, this Chemtech Dragon is going to do a lot of work. When you think about what Busio is doing in this game,
True.
and then you're keeping people topped up for longer. Like, this is the perfect soul for KC.
You can play at those thresholds.
Important to recognize that Caps, his gold lead is massive. It's so big, in fact, that he had a full 6-item build, sold his Banshees, then bought a Death Cap. But I don't know if that matters. He knows that he needs more damage, but right now, can he actually gain access? Because the reason why Anivia is a counter to Ryze is because of his range. It becomes really hard for Ryze to play in these fights when Anivia is zoning off all of your space and making it impossible to get in range of the carries and for you to do the damage that you want to. KC's composition has reached the point where it's so much harder for G2 to play. And now with the Baron, they'll secure another tower and they edge closer to the base of G2.
Arrow.
The pick doesn't quite hit, but no flash on Caliste. Maybe that gives a window here for G2. The hot pot combo may live on just one more time, but for KC, the siege underneath the base is so difficult for G2 to deal with. Another minute on this Red Bull Baron power play, and G2, KC are just continuing to stack up more and more items. Canna just finished the Rabadon's Death Cap in base.
So many small instances of meaningful moments. When G2 is sieging in the bot lane, when KC was able to finally kill Hansama, convert that into about 3 kills. They couldn't leave their base, but they successfully slowed G2 down. Then again, around the Baron steal. They lost the fight, but they were again able to slow the game down. And then the Dragon, the steal. Yes, G2 won the fight, but they couldn't end the game. They've been able to just stop G2 at every opportunity. When they were so close to ending it, they then shut that opportunity down. And it's through some of these very small plays that have come through to reach this point where the goal difference basically doesn't matter anymore, and it all comes down to execution. And in this execution, KC's comp is that much easier to execute upon.
I mean, again, you talked about earlier on, it was about a year ago now, what that wall can do, what the Anivia can do for zoning for this composition. KC hold the cards, and even though nothing's up and available, you can see their control is running through G2's jungle, which is a very new sight in this game.
It's that public execution, though, that is more difficult for them to work with. You've got Flash now coming up for Hansama, Flash and Ghost available for Caps. Everything is up and available for G2, whereas for KC, Caliste still vulnerable while that Flash is on cooldown. Now, 2 minutes at least until these next couple of ejectos means that it should be up. But if G2, you can see them kind of fish around for picks, maybe get a moment to get a breather in this game and try and right this ship.
That's going to be a full build Seraphine. I mean, I think we're almost at full build Nami as well. I mean,
True.
This is one of the biggest things about the new meta, just the greater access to gold that supports do have. And enchanters specifically, when they get all this extra gold, they really get to make use of it. So these carries are going to be hitting very, very hard. But that gold difference at the top of your screen, remember, it was 12K. That's how much of a gap Casey's been able to close. The gold basically meaning nothing now as we get closer to the Elder spawning. A minute 30. Casey's going to do what they can to limit G2's ability to move into the river. If our observers can just showcase it, perfect, thank you. What G2 sees is very little. Caps often does this on side lanes where he'll overextend deliberately, knowing that he is safe, to at the very least get something back. Maybe a little bit of information, a little bit of vision. And he's going to use the Scribe's Bloom to do that. He's going to push in another wave. He knows he has the Ryze ultimate to get him away to safety, but an easy TP collapse could put him in some serious pressure, but it's his way of generating some pressure on the map that Casey's forced to react to.
He's shown on this wave as he hovers around. Broken Blade is crawling up as well, but that control ward sees Broken Blade. Pings are going down. And as you said, that TP flank could be huge onto 2 members of G2. Caps hiding in the bush. They know there's some kind of setup here. Pings are actually still going down onto that ward.
Yike.
Casey are coming in. The arrow flies up, misses Caps, flashed away from Broken Blade. Canna makes a play with shielded around, but he's taking no damage anymore. G2 are getting collapsed on. A Realm Warp out. Negated. No. Caps only just makes it as Caliste looks for the slow with a volley. He finds it. Now he walks up. Autos. His damage. Unbelievable onto Caps, who runs away because G2 are losing the play.
But they're looking to go for the base. The reset from kyeahoo means they can clear out the wave. So everyone goes back. But 10 seconds until that dragon. The TP to bot lane. The ultimates used by KC. G2 want to take the fight.
Wait for that arrow though, not long to go. Teleport going to be burned. Elder is there at 22k HP. Flag and drag, and Broken Blade has to walk it out. 4 members now standing in the river. The Anivia in mid lane. Yahoo's going to clear the wave on Caps. Has to rejoin the play.
Keep your eyes on Caps. He is looking for a flank. He knows that there's a ward there that can spot him out. If he can take out Caliste, then this game can be very different. That ward will see him. Yahoo going to be his mark. The dragon dropping to about 70%.
Elder doing a bit of damage. 13k now. KC committing to it. Just a little bit longer. Summer steps up and Caliste spaces him. That arrow up and available to shoot out. Full vision onto G2. Caps, Mega Blast Cone, looking for an angle. 8k, still the AoE, the setup, the equalizer, beautiful. The health bars dropping, the cataclysm of flash, and G2, no!
Yike again!
Stole the Elder again! Caps gonna get burnt down. KC has the fight. Canna with his dying breath will find himself a knockup. G2 have 3, KC on 3, but Elder trumps all.
But the minions are in mid lane. KC are looking to go for the end. They can start the push. G2, a smite again comes in to make the difference for KC.
With the back here as well, I mean, G2 are going to pull up one hell of a defense. KC are going to be confident. GA's available for mid for AD carry. Caliste is doing so much damage. If he gets a free hit, this game goes to 3. Minions pulling in. Inhibitor turret, rather Nexus, are vulnerable, but Summer clears the wave. He gets out of dodge. Last minion, gone. Caliste doesn't care though. He's got shielding. 1 Nexus turret down.
Busio is happy to just shield the whole way through.
KC is unrelenting. The Rumble ultimate to try and stop the wave.
Summer survives. The Valkyrie's out. 1 last minion and it's gone again. Over the bubble, Yahoo steps forward. Tidal wave though onto Caliste, but Broken Blade, moment from getting executed. The Elder, and Busio does it. The Seraphine sung her first, maybe last song of this
3
game.
seconds.
Caps up in 3. The defense, 1 more wave. Elder's coming through. Busio gets tunneled out.
The roll
There's
walk.
the ult, and Caps ran in, but charm. Busio with the charm. Yahoo's still alive. Busio's down though. Into the egg. The Nexus is bare, but no one at KC is there.
But KC should have seen the respawn timers. They stuck around, thinking that maybe Galio could get in range. They stuck around thinking that with the Elder they could still win the fight, but the Realm Warp to give SkewMond the angle allowed him access onto the backline. They take out Caliste. The Baron is available. What is this game?
Yike is running for the base
Back
though.
door.
The ult from Canna is available.
actually going.
They have to go. Yike is legging this, but Canna will have to reset.
He's
They
on a
can't
walk.
be in 2 places at once.
He's on a ward, but he has the Elder. He has the Elder. You can see him shining grey. Found out by Caps. Now he's running away. Caps going to continue this chase down. Turns it for an ulti though. Onto Caps, good damage, but he still wants to end the game. Canna's going to ulti in. Grand entrance.
It's a base race.
Exit. Base race indeed, but G2 have an AD carry. And Ban Exit versus Ban Exit. I think G2 just called KC. What a way to go to Barcelona, as G2 have proven Winter is here.
Unbelievable end to this game. A resilient defense from KC. They fought to the bitter end. A game that felt like they had finally brought back ends in disaster at the Nexus.
When it came to the very last moment, it was G2 who made the correct call. It was KC who could not hold. But what an absolutely insane game!
Broken Blade, SkewMond or Caps?
I mean,
I don't know.
Like the summary of that game is G2 got caught a lot because KC were so smart about punishing these small missed positions.
Yeah.
But it felt like because the fights kept going the way of G2, KC couldn't come back. But the steals from Yike, Dragon, Baron, Elder.
Dragon. Yeah.
It was just unbelievable how often he was able to keep his team in the game.